Alright guys, welcome to episode 46 of our On Target Talk. 6 more weeks and we'll be doing this for a year.
Exactly, so 6 more weeks until we all get very drunk.
For
a stream.
So I think we should bypass our episode 50 random talk so that it can be our episode 52 randomness.
And we just get drunk. No, because here's the issue with that. If we do a random, if we do, I need some kind of like guideline if I'm going to be drunk on the podcast. Because if it's a random podcast while I'm drunk, I honestly do not know what I could say. The possibilities are endless.
5-minute rant about Intel or something like that.
Yeah.
Or how you have 176 processes running on your computer.
Something like that. But worst case scenario is I bring up current events and politics, and then that's just like. You're going to have to pull the plug at that point.
Yeah, it just rips out the wire.
Technical difficulties.
Actually, that'd be difficult with mine because I can't rip out the internet wire. I'll switch to Wi-Fi.
You just have to throw the computer upside down.
I can't pull the battery on mine.
Oh, you can't?
No, it's an internal battery.
Oh.
It'd just be like hold the off button, but I'd give you an extra 4 seconds.
Yeah, I could say a lot of bad stuff in 4 seconds. I could lose my job in 4 seconds.
Yeah, basically. All right, guys. But either way, back to some form of topic here. So today we're going to be talking about, after we cover, announcements and news, because there's actually been a lot of really cool, interesting stuff this last week. We're going to spend some time talking about
talking about Dez's transition to puberty.
Our dream field would be, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, Extreme is the best field in the world. It's pretty damn awesome, don't get me wrong. But we want to spend some time talking about what would make a field our genuine dream field. We want to go there every day to play kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe no speeds. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get more into that a little bit later. But first, of course, we have our usual announcements. So, we did have our Spec Ops night this last weekend, and if you were there, thank you very much for coming, and also thank you very much for the patience. I understand there were some hiccups along the way. Things didn't, of course, go according to plan because, Airsoft time never goes according to plan. But we still did get to play all 6 missions that I had planned for the night, and there was a couple favorites that people really seemed to like, and I definitely learned a lot from running it. One of the things I did learn is that in the future, this will probably be pushed to adult night gaming. Maybe every other month, something like that. Still working that out.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be able to bring back another Spec Ops night sometime around adult night in February. It takes a lot. It takes about an event level of effort to run. So
we had to move the field, so that's how you know it's
exactly
like pretty real stuff, right?
So
there.
It's not something we can realistically do every month, unfortunately. But like I said, every other month I think we can manage. Yeah. On that note, if you guys played this weekend, you had an awesome opportunity. Something I'm actually really sad I didn't get to do, and that was play on a really, really tight field. It's kind of funny, is both Saturday morning and Sunday morning what we offered to the players was, hey, if you want to play with no safety kills, play on the far side of the field. If you want to play with regular game, play on the near side of the field. And as I expected, my favorite part is there's so many players who complain about the fact we have safety kills, and I get it. I don't like safety kills. You don't like safety kills. The whole staff is like, life would be easier without safety kills. And a lot of our customer base thinks that too, until they played 1 or 2 games without safety kills and go, oh no, I like safety kills once they got shot point blank.
This was a very bad idea.
But there's no more complaining about the fact that safety kills after that. So
hey, there you go.
But either way, the field, this side of the field actually worked pretty well even with safety kills. The hallways are long enough that you come around a corner and generally someone's out of safety.
So like everyone was out of breath by the end of the event, right? Is what you're saying? Or by the end of the day?
Yeah,
just yelling safety at each other all day?
No, that's my point, is the hallways are long enough that when they came around a corner, generally the target was far enough away.
Okay.
It wasn't just a safety kill fest.
Did the refs walk around with a measuring tape then? Like 5 feet, 5 feet.
Actually, generally, Saturday play, unfortunately, we didn't have many people because of the snow. First snowstorm.
The first 2 inches of the year, and everyone stays inside.
But then Sunday crowd was actually pretty significant, and there was like not a single issue all day.
Yeah. Sunday we had a lot of players.
So yeah, it was just a good weekend, and it's a kind of field move you're literally going to never see. So
yeah,
it was fun. But either way, like I said, it went well. Thank you very much if you came out. I know a lot of you guys have criticisms, and you already voiced it to me in person, and again, I really actually appreciate that, and I mean it. If you went to Spec Ops Night and you have criticisms, I said that right, yeah. Throw it in Facebook or YouTube comments.
Yeah, send us a message or something.
We just try to make this work. It's something that is very unusual to a game of Airsoft. It's not like a regular game of Airsoft. And as I explained to all the players the night of, you got less gaming compared to a regular night, but the gaming was all, when you did game,
much more interesting.
It was much more tense. It was much more about you. Like, you're on the field with 50 other people. Your actions make almost no difference.
Yeah.
Minor difference. Maybe you have that game-winning play if you're lucky, but when you're 6 people against an op 4 in the field, everybody's actions
everyone
fully matter to you being successful or not successful. So every step, every thought, every shot counts. And to me, that's much more fun. And we had a good group of players who were definitely in that mindset. Unfortunately, we did have a lot of younger players just coming by for a regular Friday night of gaming. They didn't know it was any Spec Ops night, and
a lot of kids always like, "Hey guys, you here for Spec Ops night?" They're like, "Sure, great." And I'm like,
and nothing against that. I mean, nothing against them. And the way I see it is, we ran it on a Friday night.
It's usually the younger crowd night.
It's kind of the worst case scenario night. You know what I mean?
The only way I see a worst case is Friday is usually the younger crowd night.
Well, that's what I mean. Younger crowd, generally less focused players, things like that. And so we ran it on a night where it was going to be most difficult, so that we run it in the future, it's going to be that much better for it. Also funny is I wrote the event figuring, okay, regular Friday night gaming is 20, 25 players? And I was like, okay, I wrote the whole thing saying we could have a maximum of 36 players and have this go off without a hitch. Then we had 39 players. We made everything a lot more difficult. But either way, again, thank you for coming. Let us know what you thought. But this weekend is just a load of fun. Friday night is our pistol shotgun night. Saturday is adult night, which me and James will be here for working, unfortunately, but nonetheless, you'll get to come hang out with us if you show up for adult night, and maybe we'll run some of those Spec Ops night missions if the right crowd is here for it. And Sunday, of course, is our very special event, our Christmas event, being run by Isaiah and Dan, or Chuckles, as you may know him. Unfortunately, neither of them are here right now. Should I grab Isaiah from this? Nah, there's no one else in the store to watch it.
Yeah. Should just move the podcast to the store.
All right, let's go. I wish we could do that. We need like a massive Wi-Fi card to put in my computer. So
I do have that Wi-Fi card actually.
I don't exactly have a PCI slot on here.
Who needs that? Right?
But do you want to explain any of the details, pre-registration, all that kind of stuff of our upcoming event?
Yeah, absolutely. So the upcoming event. Let me pull up my little information. So it's Revenge of the Grinch, and believe it or not, there's actually now some more information on that. To give you a quick little synopsis, hard times have befallen the North Pole. Battles between Santa's forces and Frost have left the region war-torn, and both sides have been reduced to fighting for resources to continue the war. After the success of Operation Frostbite, Frost has become a large target and has gone back into hiding. With the Grinch freed from his imprisonment, he returns to power, and his followers have joined him for one last epic battle for the North Pole. Santa's army has rallied once more for a harrowing defeat. After a harrowing defeat at the hands of Frost, if you remember last year, Santa's team started off very strong, but then a little bit before halfway through the day, the Frost team definitely took over and dominated almost every game after that. And so with morale skyrocketing, he has made his return. Vinny will actually not be here though, even though Santa said he made his return. He sadly is. I don't think he has this winter off. I think he's staying up there this winter. But anyways, his factories are cranking out toys to prepare for Christmas, but they're running low on materials. So that's the general synopsis. So you can see games, that would pertain to gathering resources to keep a toy operation running, as well as fighting militia, defending these structures that are making these, as well as attacking them, depending on the team that you're on. So it sounds like Santa's going to peak kind of on the defense, since the front line has been moved up to the North Pole at this point. We should, I don't know, I haven't seen the mission list yet. But generally, it's going to be
It's gonna be a fun time.
yeah, it's gonna be a very good time. Wear costumes. We are gonna be doing a costume contest. Usually, we give out like 2 free admissions to the top winner. Second place gets 1 free admission, and then third place gets all that something else. And then we of course have our raffle at the end of the day, as well as our supplies drive. This year, we're not doing a toy drive. We're doing a supplies drive. And that's going to the children's that's run by Hasbro this year, and it's for kids who grew up and maybe didn't have as nice of a Christmas as you or I may remember it, and so this is you bring in backpacks, shoes, toys, stuff like that, and that gets donated to maybe help help them have a better Christmas than what they might be used to. So this is the season of giving. Christmas, I know. To a lot of people, sadly, and maybe it's just something that you realize when you grow up, but Christmas is more so about giving, and a lot of people just see it as, oh, I get presents, like the time of the year that you get extra presents.
So it seems that whole sentiment has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, it has.
As, like, age-wise has dropped when they start to realize it's a nice change to see.
Yeah, you have EG kids, so maybe that's where I'm getting all that from.
I mean, even from the time when I was a kid to nowadays, but even still.
Yeah. So you get a specific amount of tickets for the different items. I think it's backpack gets 20 tickets, shoes get 10, and toys get 3. They all have to be new, and there's going to be raffle prizes from local organizations for that. So and also a grand prize from us. So stop by to learn bit more information about that. Going to the comments real quick on Facebook, there's actually a few things about the Spec Ops night, or at least for field improvement. So this is regarding field improvement options.
I was gonna bring this stuff up.
Oh, okay, yeah. So reading this now, this is actually something that I'll bring up later, Brad. So don't you worry. Just sit right on tight. And once we get into topic, we'll absolutely address your concerns and such. But yeah, and so that's just about all that's coming up. And then, of course, afterwards, Nerf Night is all throughout this month. Aside from the Wednesday after Christmas, we have Nerf Gaming from 9 to 12, and then Airsoft Gaming from 12 to 7 p.m. And if you guys sit tight and refresh your calendars in approximately... Yeah, in approximately like 2 minutes, I'm going out and fixing that. Funny story behind that, if you watch the previous 2 podcasts, Des yells at me for the times being incorrect. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I have this all right. I have the times. Shut up, leave me alone. Well, it turns out that I was adjusting the Nerf time schedule and not actually the Airsoft time schedule. So we had...
Basically, he was wrong. He claimed he fixed it. I went and looked again. Still wrong. But either way, I think
I fixed it.
All right. I think we're going to move on to the topic, though.
Yeah.
So, let's like I said, we're both, this stream is definitely drop your opinions on how we can improve extremes. We're always looking for suggestions, and we try to incorporate them as much as we can. And actually, I did see one by Brad here that I do want to address and kind of get your opinion on it, James. And that's the whole... at first I'll address the second point he made about the wood bars going across the doors in most of the buildings. And while I wholly agree, there was actually a big debate
regarding the planks
on the bottom. Yeah, so there's a big debate when we built the buildings about those. Our old buildings actually didn't have them. The issue is because our field is modular. Without them, when we go to push a building, the building literally falls apart.
Yeah, it's
we need those for strength.
Exactly.
So I would completely agree. I would love to get rid of them. We had discussed painting them orange so that you would definitely notice them, but then that kind of takes away from the whole realism aspect a little bit too.
You get orange stairs in real life, and
yeah, but not every doorway has an orange strip on the bottom of it. So it's something, like I said, obviously, as you can tell, it's something we still debate to this day. But to maintain the field modularity, you always having a new field when you come in. You mentioned you've only been here once. I guarantee you the field's changed since you last came in. Something that's fortunately allowed in Rhode Island and not allowed in Massachusetts, as much as that kind of sucks for them. What are you doing?
Think on me. I have something to say about that.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so we have this idea for moving the buildings. with the wheel jacks.
That would be even worse if we took out those pieces of wood.
Okay.
Because the doors were near the corners, so you'd lift
up
and you would just go into like.
See, I was just thinking from the just the Y plane just forces up, forces down, but it forgot to account for the rest of the weight that's halfway through those 2 points. Yeah.
But like I said, unfortunately, you can't do that one. But as for the lights on, it's something that we get asked for. You see the field behind us right now. The maintenance lights are on, as we call them, and it's very, very bright out there. Now, this is something we actually discuss. We actually get comments both directions about. A lot of times, if you play here a lot, you'll know that if the crowd gets very
unsportsmanlike.
Yes, that's the best word. Best way you can put that. We will turn the lights on, so it's easier for the rest to identify who's the troublemaker. And it's funny because half the players go, "Oh, nice, the lights are on," and half the players go, "It's no fun to play here when the lights are on."
Exactly.
And it kills us because it's like we want to please everybody, of course.
Yeah.
That we really try that. So it's possible in the future we might do some more lit fields, but personally, I would prefer if the lighting came from not these big maintenance lights. Because
I like to say I prefer more organic lighting.
Exactly. You really feel like you're in a big warehouse building when these lights are on.
Exactly. You see our nasty freaking...
Right. So I am curious, Brad, if you could answer this. When was the last time you came? Because it's only been the last couple months
since August.
Me and him personally added significantly more lighting to the field. We don't get nearly as many complaints about the darkness anymore. There's no more dark shadows for people.
It feels darker, but it's actually brighter.
It's odd to say, but yeah, because the light is all at eye level now.
There's a lot more darkness up top.
Yeah, there's darkness up top, and you're like, oh, I'm playing in this really dark place. There's so many shadows. But we actually specifically lit up almost every shadowy spot in the field. We kept a couple for those players that like them. But for the most part, most of the shadows are gone. So if you haven't played here in the last couple months, I would really advise you make it down. I know you said it's a long drive, and I can certainly appreciate that.
I don't know how much you've been playing Airsoft, Brad, but once you start to when your friends all want to travel to go to a game, 2 hours is like a breath of fresh air.
But like I said, on that same token, we can certainly, if enough players ask for it during a day, we will turn the lights on. We go through, we try and do public opinion.
Yeah. One thing that I'm just happy about is that we're slowly transitioning back into darker game modes, which is something that when I came here as a player,
Assassin and that.
There was that small time that they played blackout games, and then it was no blackout games. And now that exactly, now that we're kind of I feel like the community's changed a bit here. The field has changed. The refs are better at their jobs. There's a better general understanding of how things work with
So the funny thing is, I'd say the biggest reason we can do stuff like that now is not that the community's gotten better at not being horrible people. It's as silly as it sounds, the community's gotten a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
When we used to play blackout games, people would trip over everything and started hurting themselves, or people would just run full force into a wall, and I'm just like, it's dark, it's not that dark.
Yeah.
So the community's kind of gotten a little better about their awareness, and that kind of allows us to bring low light back, but I can certainly appreciate highlight. And actually on the topic of lights is I can finally say we are adding more dynamic lighting to the field. Is I tested the system, James witnessed it himself just this last Friday. And it'll be installing.
It's not more lighting. If anything, it's less lighting.
In some ways, it's controlled lighting, more dynamic lighting. It allows us to add more lighting later on. But basically, I've announced this in the past, but it'll be kind of cool to see come to fruition soon. We're going to be doing a trial run, hopefully next weekend. There'll be targets in each building, and if you shoot that target, the light in that building will turn off for a random interval from 15 to 45 seconds or so. So you can kind of take the chance, you want to shoot out that light as you enter the building and use the shadows, but then that someone knows you're going to enter the building if the light's off, or you can use it to shoot out the building over there and enter the building to your right, and
it's a whole other level of thought to go in.
Yeah, the whole idea is you're shooting out the lights, like Splinter Cell style here.
Yeah.
You're obviously not shooting at the lights, but nonetheless, it should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward. And the worst part is I never get to play on these things like I create. I rarely get to play on the actual outcome.
Sorry, eventually you'll get to play on it, but that should be really cool though. You know, like so are you just going to have those targets on the insides of the buildings or on the outside?
I think I'm going to start with just the inside. The system right now is currently set up for one target per one light. It's a modular system.
So you could easily set up for 2 lights.
Right. Well, exactly.
Or for 2 targets.
Yes, it's a little more difficult, but yes, because the sensors have addresses in the I2C bus, and I know this goes way over your head. Basically, it's looking for a specific address from a specific sensor, and if you put 2 sensors in the same Arduino, it doesn't know which one it's talking to.
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense.
So you have to have a multiplexer, and it reassigns one address.
Okay, yeah, because I thought that they would have their own way to identify, but then I guess but even if it doesn't,
they have their own way to identify, but they're the exact same item. It's like I identify my car that's a Chrysler Crossfire.
I don't know, the way I see it is if you have the signal coming from this one thing and it's going to this main brain, you shoot it, and then it sends that signal, you program the Arduino so that no matter which it gets its signal, it doesn't get it like that.
Because, okay, we're going to be really nerdy for a second here. I apologize, chat.
I'm sorry, I thought...
So the way it works is the master device, which is the Arduino, it sends a clock signal, and when the slave on that bus...
Like a 4-year series?
No. When the slave receives a begin command, which is a certain way of controlling the clock and the input, it starts sending. So if they both started sending data at the same time, the bits, which have to be a very specific length, if the bits would get stretched or something like that, or stretched or shrunk or overwrite each other, and you'd get garbage.
Okay.
It'd be like if I said, "Hey James, what time is it?" and 2 people named James yelled the time at me. I wouldn't know the time twice as good. I would be like, "What did you say?"
Okay. All right.
That's actually probably the best analogy I could have come up with.
So in case you ever wanted to know why it's harder to do that,
But okay, sorry about being nerdy there for a second. And Zach mentioning having Fry run games here. He's more than welcome to run games here. As I always welcome event runners to try and do their own stuff here. We've done it with teams in the past, and it's gone pretty well. So
yeah, that would be pretty rad. Let's get Tom in here from MSATO. Have him run some of his games that he runs at GZA.
Have 200 people in here.
Yeah,
flashbangs and all. Okay, but let's start talking about what would be in our dream field. So I think me and you have the same preference. So we're going to talk from our preference of. Speaking of which, I figured out how demonetization works, and it's funny that you just said that. I'll explain in a moment.
Okay.
So
building on the naked woman thing, I'm down for that.
So I think we're both going to talk from I think we both enjoy hyperrealism. There's people who enjoy more of the gaming aspect of it. I won't say speed softwares necessarily. There's just people in general who prefer more of a field built for gaming purposes compared to a field built for realism. Like gaming purposes, you'll never have a dead end. Every building would have every room would have 2 entrances. There would be never dead ends.
Yeah.
Whereas realism, obviously, you'd have a room you can enter and then you have 1 exit. I'd say that's a pretty significant differentiation between the 2.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, I was saying the way demonetization works is apparently YouTube has started auto captioning videos, so you can put on closed captions almost any video.
So auto captioning.
And if the closed captionings have stuff like what you just said, it gets demonetized.
Really? But the thing is, that just looks at a phrase and not the context of the phrase. You can't analyze that. Well, then that's just lame.
Well, that's why, so the funny thing is, that's why our videos get demonetized, and a day or 2 later they'll come back once they get reviewed. But the algorithm immediately says, oh, no, bad language, demonetized.
And so there's someone that has to sit there and look through all the monetized videos?
No, they probably just get sent a snippet, like a 5-second snippet.
Oh,
and
they're
watch
like,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
no.
that's good. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
My dream field would consist, and I wish we could do this here, would consist of something that is both outdoors and indoors in the same field. And I don't mean indoors like a little shack. I mean a building like this on a big outdoor field, and you move through the building as like an objective.
So it sounds like a Milsimeo is what your dream field is.
I mean, technically, but but it doesn't necessarily need to be a whole compound like you get with Milsimeo. Something, even just one or two buildings, like an old an old mill where you have like lots of small buildings. Like this is a textile mill. So the textile mills are showing this. You don't know. Yeah, if you didn't know that, Extreme Airsoft, we're in an old textile mill from I believe it was Kenyan that owned it before, and generally textile mills are all connected because the textiles you don't want going outside and coming back inside. It makes the buildings to be a little more expensive, but very open floor plan and pretty good for when you want one big indoor field.
Yeah.
Steel roof, things like that kind of make it better. However,
so the roof here is fantastic.
Nonetheless, it could be worse. It could be like
there could be literal like holes in the
exactly.
roof. Oh wait, there are literal holes in the roof.
It could be worse. Like that, it could be like that egg up in Maine.
yeah.
This building's not the same age as that.
Really?
Yeah, to give you a reference.
Yeah, I guess the weather up there has degraded that a bit.
Well, it's also the building style.
Yeah.
But so then other, like I believe it's paper mills. Let me check this real quick. Or grain mills, anything like that. They tend to have much smaller, localized, like much smaller specific buildings on one property. Chemical plants are a good example of that as well because they can split them up.
Okay.
So that's it. That's kind of like what was the Fremont place?
Fremont place?
Was it Fremont? The Patriot. One Patriot was that.
Oh, that was in Fitchburg.
Fitchburg, that's right.
Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Yeah, and that was an old pharmaceutical compound.
So yeah, again, the kind of chemicals, not necessarily, you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I would love to see buildings of that style, very industrial style, kind of buildings like that. Just because like the play there was very interesting. I mean, you want to talk about like the differences between game, like a game setup for a field and then a realism set of the field is that when you have places like that. Like there's some real lane corners where I guess it depends on which end of the gun you're on. But there's some corners where you're just like, really, dude, like you shot me through there, and so that's like the whole realism thing. But a field would just be like barriers and just basic stuff like that.
Right.
Sandbags, like hardcover with no real cheesiness.
I remember the time we entered a room at Patriot, and it was just all the metal pipes that they were hiding behind, and it was kind of like, like you said, it's cheesy. You're going, okay,
but you're gonna run into that crap in real life,
right? Exactly. It's fair. Yeah. It's totally fair. It's just a little cheesy. The worst thing about Airsoft is like people can hide behind stuff that's like when we were at Autumn Justice, and we were hiding behind that net. And calling out the positions of people and they couldn't hit us, and like in real life, you're like. No, in real life, a bullet would go through that net and you'd be very dead. So I don't like actually, we kind of ran into the same issue at Fitchburg. Remember, we were hiding behind the net and literally did the exact same things. My ideal field would specifically not have unrealistic soft cover.
Okay, so like soft cover is in like sandbags and stuff like that?
No, that's hardcover, because hardcover can stop a bullet. Sandbag can stop a bullet.
Okay.
Soft cover as in things like netting.
Oh, right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Or like textiles, or, a thin sheet of plywood, though that one's kind of a little more acceptable, but things that you can see through, that in the real world you'd shoot, windows. An airsoft, I don't like windows on an airsoft field.
Like windows with actual glass on it.
Yeah.
Actually, real quick, let me respond to a comment on
Facebook. Go
ahead. It's from Brian. He just has a question about the holiday special hours. Go to our website, extremeairsoftri.com. Click on the calendar tab. We have gaming all throughout the week after Christmas. Gaming is from 12 to 7, Tuesday through Friday. Did he comment yet? I haven't.
Yeah, he goes, was just testing to see if you knew you were live. You passed.
See, the thing is, I don't see that comment yet, which is...
I don't understand.
Facebook is, the worst with their liveness.
And someone was asking if we have a top down of the field. It'll actually be different for after.
A top down of the field?
Yeah. Actually, I can. Can I show them the one that you posted in the employee group?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can show them the new field layout. We just finished the field layout this Sunday. We'll be moving it this week. I think it's either tomorrow or Thursday. But yeah, we can show you it. And you can also show them the isentropic or the ISO.
I'll just download one.
The isocentric, right? That's the proper way to say that. I'm thinking of isentropic like thermodynamics. That's what I was studying all morning.
I honestly don't remember. Now, by saying it so many different ways,
I've confused you. Great.
Yeah.
All right. So at least I pulled you down into my hole of
Wait,
confusion.
can I not comment an image? Okay, I would show you, but I can't. Sorry. I don't know how to comment an image.
Well, you can. We'll show it to you later. Don't. Oh, actually, here. I'll do this. After the stream, I will post it.
No, okay.
Into the group.
I'm being stupid. I can literally just throw it on the screen and share the screen.
That as well. We can also do that.
There we go. That's the field layout for Saving Santa or Christmas off, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Back to the window conversation.
Right. Windows. So yeah, windows are really lame in Airsoft. Actually, I have a few videos.
So you
on
do
my
agree with me on
Oh
that?
yeah, I have a few videos on my GoPro of me at the Patriot facility, the Fishburg game, and I think maybe at a few other places too, where there's.
I mean, if it's there, you use it.
Yeah, where you're in two rooms. Two opposite teams are in two different rooms, and there's a window, like a door with a window there. And of course, you have one guy that has his foot and his shoulder up against the window, so no one's getting through that stupid thing. And you just go up to the window, and you just wave at the other team, and you're like, "Hi guys," and the other guy puts his forehead up, and you like kiss each other through like the window. You know that whole Airsoft thing that we've all eventually done at one point. So that's always like, I wish I could just shoot through this window, or even just put a bullet through the door. At this point, you can go through the door. And on the other end of the thing, aside from the Airsoft, gameness part of it, is using windows and then just sitting there and calling out enemy positions.
Right, and that just because like in real life, you'd be like.
Yeah, like, oh, there's some guy talking into his radio in a window. Bam. Like
Exactly.
he's definitely doing something important right now.
Yeah, right, exactly. So and it's funny because we've actually discussed putting windows in on an extremes field. No, you suggested
on extremes what?
Field. Remember, like we had the ones in Moe's Bar for a while, and they were just causing nightmares. And it's funny, we've had plexi windows in one specific building. We tried it once, and that was never going to happen again. I was against it I'll say this right now, I was against it from day one. Sounds like this is going to cause issues. And guess what?
It caused issues.
A lot of issues. People are like, I'm hitting that person, he's not calling it. I'm like, no, you're shooting the window, he's behind.
Yeah.
So we actually ended up taking sandpaper and scuffing up all the fake broken windows.
Even still, they didn't notice it. We eventually removed those sections.
They're still.
Oh, they're still there?
A lot of them are still there.
Okay.
They're scuffed to the point they're white.
Okay.
They're very, very scuffed. But the few that are still there,
I think window shades would be cool because you see your videos of the Camp Shelby down in Mississippi.
Again, that returns like soft cover that you can hide behind and peek out of that doesn't have the real counterpart.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking of there's this one video from my team from Brian's perspective, our saw gunner. And this was like the year this was the year before I joined, and they were down at Camp Shelby running off for. And you just see them, they're in this building, and they count down, and they punch open these blinds, and there's like 2 squads of dudes lined up in this alleyway, and they get them perfectly on this choke point and hose like 20 guys within like 10 seconds. And so that's what I see, like, just imagine creating that kind of like feeling here, kind of choked up in a 2nd-story building here,
right?
Opening up a blind and then just hosing people, like that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And if I, talk about a dream field, that would absolutely set up stuff like that, like choke points. I would.
Well, yeah, I would have dead ends. I'd have, honestly, the way I set up the field for the Spec Ops night is the kind of stuff I love, a mix of open and CQB. Not the whole world is, the world is not evenly dispersed in terms of cover, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's not like a Battlefield game or something like that.
Right. I like the idea of having points where it's open, points where it's spread out. Things I would love, which unfortunately I always have mixed feelings about, things like doors. doors you can kick open, doors you can open and enter. Build
the fatal funnel.
Because they're fun. Unfortunately, we had to remove them here because there is a danger aspect to them.
Yeah.
Because, if reference, if you haven't played here, if you weren't playing here 6 years ago when we had them, we'd have people be like, I'm going to be a sneaky person and hide behind the door when they come in the room. And on the other person, you'd have a person be like, I'm going to be a badass. I'm going to kick this door open. And
here's an idea. So if I, talking about like dream fields.
Okay.
So if I were to set up, a place like areas with doors and stuff like that, I would set up the doorways such that the door can open 180 degrees. And depending, how we have adult night, I would set it up so that depending on the day of play, I would either bolt the doors open or I would close them for the more mature crowd. And I would have a system set up so that, yes, they could kick the door in without actually breaking the hinge, have it, like after a certain pressure it'll open, or you can open it quietly. And I would switch between the two depending on the crowd that's there.
I'm not going to lie, that's an option.
So
that would be acceptable.
Just an idea I had. Like as close as you can get to having doors without it being shitty.
Usually this is how game ideas or how field change ideas go between me and James. He suggested something and then I look at it from the safety aspect.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, James, this is why no.
But this would work.
Other times, I was saying other times, no.
I have good ideas.
I think that's acceptable. But how often do you suggest something I'm like?
Yeah, very, very not often. Very not often.
No, but you know what? Something else I would love. Speaking of, okay, so if we're talking purely an indoor field, if we don't have the opportunity to have outdoor and indoor. If we're talking a purely indoor field, what I would love is a very open space and like 20-foot ceilings, so you could put literal entire houses, like 25 maybe, but like literally build a house.
What is
inside.
That? Kind of like a game pod out in Texas or California. Remember that place I showed you? It's like the biggest indoor field, like on the North American. Well, actually, Robert, regarding running in and yelling safety on adult night, for example, going back to the whole doors argument, where you could close or kick in the doors on adult night, there's no safety kills, but with the doors open, there will be safety kills. And I mean, you've probably played at a indoor facility with safety kills, so you get how it is running into a room and yelling safety. But yeah, I get what you're saying, man. If someone on adult night wants to kick in a door and yell safety, that's great. They might get shot, and technically they would still be out because safety kills aren't enforced. But yeah, so is it game pod or am I thinking of something else?
I'm not seeing anything.
Or it's it's something like that.
Doesn't matter.
But it's that place that literally had like a town set up. They have like an airplane fuselage like inside. It has like 50-foot, like 30-foot ceilings or something like that. Enough. And the funny thing is, they don't have second-story buildings. But if they were to take that kind of floor design and then put second-story buildings on there, that would actually be really cool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so you can truly like breach and clear a house and not have it be, what's the word? So airsoft feely.
Yeah. Like there's four corners to this room. He's going to be in one of them, kind of thing.
Right.
Or there's maybe a stairwell, and he's peeking the stairwell, kind of cheesing over that.
That is my dream. Have like a 200,000 square foot field with houses inside, and somehow put the houses on tracks or something, so you still have the modularity, so you're not always playing on the same field.
Yeah. That would take house moving, the thing that we're thinking of, to a whole nother level. At that point you have to put it up on those big bars, like how they move literal houses, and they have like the whole truck. I mean, could probably work if we had a way to jack it up, put them under, then roll them through.
A couple forklifts.
Yeah, but if we had a facility that size, I mean, we're talking dream field.
Yeah, exactly.
So assuming this entire conversations assume budget equals infinity.
So right. So we should mention the unfortunate reality is that beyond, they call it like 16,000 square feet in the northeast area, the sweet spot. Really, we're at the sweet spot. The issue is rent is always a thing unless you own your building, and if you own your building, taxes are a thing. Is to support a 100,000 square foot indoor field, you need an average of like 300 players a weekend.
Yeah, the income that you need, like assuming what, like 15 15,000 a month in rent. Well, actually, that's cheap. Actually, talking about what we're
Yeah, I was
thinking
gonna
of.
say.
Probably more like closer to 30 or 40
Or 50.
or 50. Yeah. And
Think about what we pay at this. Don't say.
Yeah, I'm obviously not going to tell
think
what
about
we pay.
what we pay for our size, and think about what 4 to 5
Yeah,
times
looking at
that
the
would
finances of it, like
You're
everything.
talking probably 70 plus grand.
Yeah, everything that we do here is, all, of course, budgeted and everything like that. So in order to afford a field that size,
You need like
the
300 players
income,
a week.
exactly, the income we would have to generate would be huge. So it would have to be, in a high density area. But this is like business stuff that really isn't.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, to be fair,
the dream field
if
argument,
you're
we're going to
talking
switch to the
if you're
business
talking
end of the
about
dream field argument.
Well, if you're talking about Dreamfield, you also have to somewhat consider what is practical.
Yeah.
Because part of this is we're always dreaming how to make Extreme cooler. We have lots of ideas up the pipe that, actually we should mention a couple of them just as for fun, is obviously if you guys have been here recently, we're always trying to add more player dynamics to the field. Some things I want to add in the future are player controlled sound effects. So if you notice, you go through our field and there's various sound effects for various buildings. I want to make it things like you walk into like you capture the hill, or you capture the power station. When you throw the switch on the power station, turn the lights on, you hear it powering up in the background and stuff like that too. Let me finish.
Okay.
You capture, I want to make it so for capture the flag games during Saturday, like you pull the flag out of a post, and when you pull it out, it flips a sensor, and it's like, near side is grab the flag, and when they place it on their side, it's like near side is capture the flag, and have
lift bar.
have actual counters on the field for score and stuff like that. Really integrate so if you guys don't
game modes,
integrate the game nodes into the game timer. If you guys don't know, I've actually written the entire game timer that runs Extreme, or the gaming part of Extreme throughout the day. We actually recently just added or controlled the traffic light in staging. So now it's like it's red when a game's going on, green during reload, starts blinking yellow when you have 30 or 60 seconds left of reload time, and it's yellow during briefing, and then it flips to red when the game starts.
Yeah.
And just we're always trying to add more dynamic for that player control dynamic and game control dynamic to the field. And another thing, but that also takes a lot of sensors, a lot of time. We've talked for a while about adding a static water fixture to the field. Stuff like so you have a sound and sight of real running water in a kind of gated off area.
I would have always, doing like water fixtures like that.
Like we're thinking
the field.
We have what we now call the car wash. Some people call it the tower. Some people call it the church. Its official name is now the car wash.
Depends on what time you started coming to the stream.
It's now called the car wash, and that is its official name. It's going to stay that name. I always say car wash during my briefings. But we were originally going to have a window looking to the bottom floor of that, because it's obviously a 2-story building, but you can only go on the 2nd floor, and have an old car in there, getting washed with water flowing over it, and a basin on the bottom collecting.
It's one thing we
water.
tried doing for the August event, but sadly time was not on our.
It's never on our side.
Actually, to bring up the comment from Robert, the fact that you bring this up is fantastic, because I'm pretty sure everyone, at least me and Des, but a very large amount of our customer base says that the old Lowe's in North Kingston would have been the best spot to open up a field. The location is best. The parking lot is massive. Talk about our August events. We could run that all day and night in the parking lot. The high ceilings, 40,000 square feet. It's literally perfect. So the fact that you brought that up makes me very happy, because we're not the only, and it's in close proximity to a military base. A lot of times you have issues with. You set up in a very liberal or democratic, kind of town, and
we actually had that initial issue when we opened.
Yeah, people walking in with guns.
And then people got much more comfortable with it once they understood how really friendly the business was.
Yeah.
But it definitely is a stepping stone you have to get past.
It's literally the perfect spot.
The issue is, that Lowe's building, I believe they were selling it, not renting it out or not leasing it. That was probably
should have hit on Mike.
$6 or $7 million building easily.
Oh, wow.
Really,
for a warehouse like that?
It was in fantastic condition, and also had very high ceilings, had air conditioning. It had minimal support beams. It was open floor plan. It is a perfect building.
Perfect, yeah.
Which
puts the price tag real high on it, yeah.
And that's also why it was empty for so long.
Yeah.
You have to fill it with a business that can support that cost.
Yeah. So
but don't trust me. If
anyone wants to put Extreme out of business, open up an airsoft field right there.
Then you'll go out of business when you can't afford the
when you can't afford it.
But no, trust me. We discussed multiple times how amazing that would be. But again, you have to look at, unfortunately, the practical side.
Yeah, and that's what he said. It's too bad the money isn't there. Always thought how great it would be to have.
I mean, if that building were in the middle of Warwick or Providence,
I mean, it's right off the highway. Rhode Island even built a highway going literally to Quonset, which is where that is.
Even still, but it's still a certain time. It's still a 20-minute drive from Warwick, 30-minute drive from Warwick. If you think about it like launch opened up, and within a couple months, they were like opening a second one.
Yeah.
Because they
opened a high population.
They opened in the middle of Warwick.
Yeah.
And if you guys aren't from Rhode Island, Warwick and Providence are the two most densely populated towns, quote unquote cities in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And any businesses that are at all quality that open up in the middle of those towns
usually take off. Yeah.
Usually do pretty well.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. Let's go back to the design.
But I should mention on the same token, opening up down here has its advantages.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the design. Okay, yeah. Well, what would you add?
I feel like the business end can only be so interesting, and also
exactly.
The more we talk about it, the more like someone who's thinking of opening up a field would be like,
Trust me, it's a scary thing to do. But either way,
it is a scary thing to do. Yeah.
But you were gonna say, what would you have in your dream field of yours?
Okay, so dream field would definitely be that integrate that door idea that I had, and a lot of the thing, the controllable lighting.
I was gonna say that's big to me, is adding as much sound, hit all the senses.
So
if you could generate smells here, that'd be cool.
That'd be kind of weird. I mean, airsofters already usually stink pretty bad. That's just an airsoft thing. It's usually What if you walk into staging?
What if you walk through the hot dog stand and it smelled like hot dogs, and you walk to the train station train station might not be the best smell, but you walk through a car wash, it smelled like soap. It'd be really cool if you could make each building again hyper realistic.
Emerson, I can generate smells.
But either way, you were saying.
But yeah. So let's say we're building up the idea that my dream field would include it would be outdoors with some indoor aspects. I mean, I'm talking like probably the size of the Fitchburg facility, like the Fitchburg compound.
Yeah, that was a little small for my taste, if I'm going to be completely honest.
So it was a little small because there was just a bunch of buildings plopped here and there. But maybe I'm thinking and I'm thinking that's kind of big, but I don't know. I guess kind of hear me out on this one.
Okay.
So one of the buildings, building 16, was 2 stories, many rooms, with a lot of industrial, devices and such in there. And so a building that size, maybe like 1 or 2 of them placed randomly throughout the field, and then have a very interesting environment move in between them. Like the outdoor has lots of hills, or maybe put a lot of hardcover there, like sandbags, like watchtowers. It would be honestly, it would play out like a battlefield field. Like if you play Battlefield enough, like me, you start to notice, like especially as an engineer and someone who engineers the field here, you really you see the choke points and where they designed it, and it's almost like using hacks, but it's just because you get what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Like you see the obvious choke points, you're like, okay, find the best spot of cover around this choke point. Okay, bam, I win this corner now. And and I would definitely design it kind of like that. The indoor areas would have all the crazy stuff that you're talking about here and integrate it into the field. But it would probably be I don't know, maybe 100 acres or so would be ideal. Which actually I think
100 you need at least 60, and I think 100 is ideal for an airsoft field. You start getting bigger than that, and you can't run small games.
I don't know if anyone in the comments knows what the size of what is it, Battlehack? I think Battlehack's one of the bigger ones in the country.
Okay.
I'd be interested to see what their acreage is. Maybe kind of build off that idea. But I I don't know about trees, like concerning like the environment. I mean, this is just me getting nitpicky. Like, how would I theme this? Like, what setting? I wouldn't want to just be a mashup of a bunch of random things. I would try to kind of theme it. But like, would I want trees there?
Okay. Not to interrupt, just
No, yeah, keep going.
I like the mashup, but keep going.
Okay. Like, would I put trees in there? Because trees are kind of weird for airsoft. I guess more so I'm thinking more PUBG right now. How trees are like this really like invincible thing that you stand behind and just third person. You're like, oh, okay.
I mean, it will stop the bullet in the real world.
Yeah.
It's realistic hard cover, getting back to our earlier conversation, to be fair.
Okay, all right. It's really hard, like how I would design it. Would I design it more military-esque, or would I have it, be like, like a kind of like a, not like a military base, but more so like a place that is being used as a military base. Signs of normal life with military aspects integrated into it to create this kind of like forward operating base kind of feel.
So, kind of building off what you're saying, diverging slightly, I would actually love the mashup. I would love, like you said, about 100 acres and have sectors that are themed in every possible theme you can think. Maybe have a sector in the middle that's your urban, that's your town, and you have a very densely populated buildings, and then you have sparse buildings in your other sectors, and you have a sector that's very open and sandy and deserty. You have a sector that has trees and almost is something I'm thinking of, but I can't really place it. But either way, you have like a section with dense brush. You have a section with lots of hills and rocky, and that's kind of what I love about Feel Good Farms. Is you go around Feel Good Farms and it's hilly. The whole place is hilly. That's another thing. It's not a flat field. I like very hilly fields. But Feel Good Farms had everything from open areas to rocky areas they had different types of trees because there was such an elevation difference.
Yeah.
I liked the diversity of Feel Good Farms. There was natural diversity, which was really cool too. But I would make like genuine different sectors on the field to kind of represent every different style of play. And a big thing to me is I would want a field where truly every weapon type is
usable.
Usable. Have points on the field where it's like, oh man, if you have that sniper rifle, that'll really help you out here. Or if you have that saw gun, over here will be a great place to set up. If you love that CQB action, you have urban. If you want just regular rifleman play, we have just these woods over here. Really offer, basically try and fill, rather than necessarily go for a specific theme, the theme itself would be
multiple themes.
Would be you're not going to say, okay, I'm built, you know how I build my setups. My setup is basically idealized for gameplay at UBG, because that's where I play most.
Yeah.
But make it so that you can't just build a platform that's perfect for your environment, because the environment's always changing, the objectives will change locations. And a big thing for me also would be vehicles.
Yeah, definitely vehicle gameplay. Regarding the setup thing that you said, the 4 different things.
Not 4.
Or yeah, before the different sections. I think that that's definitely a good idea. I definitely would integrate an area of like real some hardcore urban combat.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
street kind of thing.
I put that right in the middle.
Yeah, that would definitely be right in the middle. But to me as a player, I'd be like, okay, well, I don't want to play in desert. Why don't we just hook over to woods, then we can urban, through there.
Exactly.
But it's just the
thing.
But
no, that's kind of exactly my point.
I would like to integrate all that into one, like the urban with outdoor. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a video game designer, like designing maps outside of PUBG, because PUBG is like the realism kind of thing.
But even PUBG kind of hits that. They have heavy.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. Yeah.
Desert areas. But that's my point. Is the world is not homogeneous. Is make it, but what I mean by that, for viewers who don't know, I mean
I said homo.
The field is not, the world is not the same all the way through. Even through Rhode Island is one of my favorite places. Is Big River up in East Greenwich, and there's we call it the Rhode Island Desert was its old name. There's a big giant sand pit area in the middle of these really dense woods. You go a little bit further, it's hilly and open again. You go a little bit further, it's watery and down low. And it's still natural and it blends. I wouldn't say like a sector like this, like, oh, heavy woods and desert.
Yeah, of course, have to flow into each other.
They would all flow into each other. But that's the thing, is if you like someone who's like, okay, I like to be able to move fast and go through open environment, you can try to move to those environments, but also you can be forced to go into different environments.
Okay.
That would be my dream setup. It wouldn't be the hardest to set up, but it would not be easy on the same token.
Yeah, it would just have a lot of planning.
Yeah.
And what were you kind of getting into? Were you getting into the idea of like moving buildings? Is that what you're kind of getting, or am I thinking of something else?
No, that was back when I was talking indoors.
Oh, okay.
For outdoor
Bellahack has 70 acres. Thank you, Harrison.
Okay, so like I said, 60 to 100 is just about. You get more than 100, and I think it's just the cost is never going to be worthwhile. 60 to 100, I think, is the ideal size. Like, I mean,
look at how many players Bellahack can support.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to give you reference, I believe, you joined for a few games, if I remember correctly, at Warzone, right?
At Warzone, I played like 1 or 2 games there.
So right,
but not the extreme games though.
Right, but in the past,
yeah,
and that feels like I think it's 11 or 12 acres.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
like they supported a good number of players on 11 or 12 acres.
Yeah, exactly. So
if you design a field right,
multiply that by 7.
Also, one big thing for me is because obviously in the outdoor you can't just move the field. That doesn't work.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking. Like outdoor, because you have your terrain.
Well, what I would do is design the field in a way, and this can really be well accomplished with vehicles, the roads going through it, so on and so forth. Kind of all roads lead to Rome. Kind of have everything biased around the center and spread out from there, where you don't have your like, oh, this is one spawn, that's the other spawn.
Yeah, I would
make it so you can really have people spawn anywhere. I would try and make a big circle field.
Yeah,
and you can spawn anywhere around the rim. You can set up the spawns and completely change the entire dynamic of the game depending where the spawns end up.
Yeah, absolutely, and I really will agree with that one because you see that with like PUBG. There's no like corners or anything like that, but also in other video games too. Because honestly, I relate airsoft field and design to video games a lot because the scale is about appropriate,
right?
And the kind of the proximity of gameplay is about the same you'll see in airsoft, which is why I relate it to video games so frequently. But yeah, you see games with map designs that are squares or not even squares, like rectangles, and it's really kind of annoying. Like, okay, obviously the enemy team's over here and the other enemy team is right there. But with circles, like you can move all the way around and there can be dudes, in your spawn and their spawn. So yeah, definitely that whole that circular.
To me, like the ideal play style, and this kind of what leads to the circular field, is the front line should be the widest point of the field.
Yeah.
Gives you the most opportunity.
I would put in trenches. Around. Actually, speaking of design, I would do trenches.
So trenches. On a maintenance level, trenches are awesome. On the maintenance level, you create a low point where all the water goes.
Okay, all right, but you see design versus reality for trenches in World War I, where they have wood up there and they allow this area for water to inlet.
And then you have a thing called trench foot, where people lost their foot because there was always water.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you create those platforms there, which is the ideal. Obviously, it would be a lot more expensive and time consuming to create these trenches if you did them the right way. But imagine like veins going throughout this field, across the front.
I would have areas on the field that have trenches. I wouldn't do the whole field like that, because that would just get literally. What was the issue with World War I? It was trench warfare. No one went anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. You run. Yeah.
So I would maybe have an area of trenches, like maybe where you have your big open fields, you have trenches there too.
Yeah, but like I more so am thinking of using the trenches as means to get from. And thinking of them as like a tunnel, not like, you have your 2 objectives and there's a trench right between them, or 2 trenches in between them, because that's just stupid. Of course, you're going to run into trench warfare, but think of, you have your 2 objectives set up like this. Instead of the trenches like this, the trenches are like this.
But then why would you ever not use trenches? Maybe that's my point. It becomes trench warfare again, where if you're not in the trenches, you're not going to be successful.
Well, think about it at UVG in your TIG. And actually, Robert had a question. What is a good outdoor field? Love to play this spring or summer near Rhode Island. And really the closest. I mean, Warzone's fun, 11 or so acres, but if you really want to hit like a great field, go to UBG Ultimate Battlegrounds in Bourne, Massachusetts. It's right off the Bourne Bridge in Cape Cod.
It's only like an hour and a half from South Kingston.
Yeah.
So anywhere else around, it's going to be very close.
Yeah.
If you lived in Bristol, Rhode Island, it's going to be like 40-minute drive.
Yeah, it's a fantastic field, really well done. And when I'm bringing up the whole trench thing is because TIG or 4Kick-Ass, whatever the thousands of names it has, is they have wooded area with rocks and stuff like that, but they also have trenches that move kind of towards it, and then once you get closer to it, it kind of cuts diagonal. It kind of cuts
right. I mean, but those trenches are so short.
And they're about up to my chin or so if I were to stand up in them. Like they got an excavator. They like
no. I'm saying they're limited and they're not too deep. But when you said trench warfare, and you're relating it to like World War I thought you
like deep,
like that where like you're in cover if you're in the trench.
Well,
so like shallow trenches are.
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant. Yeah, shallow trench. You jump into it. An average person.
Yeah, you're kind of ducking down.
Yeah, you can duck and down. Stuff like that. Like that's kind of what I meant by trenches.
Fair enough. I can appreciate that. But you know, it's one thing. Go back to the indoor field. This is something, God, I thought about.
See you later, Robert. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Something that I thought about years ago, back when my friend Adam worked here, is quote unquote destructible environment. And here's what I mean by that: is you have the field set up, and it'd kind of be the doors again, but you have walls and doors, and you have areas of the field that can be opened if certain objectives are completed. I mentioned to you what I want to do with the bank vault. As the initial idea came back to, we wanted to have doors or walls on the field that you put a fake C4 thing on, and 30 seconds later it unlocks it, and now you can go through that wall to open up extra flanking routes through the field. Okay. This field is too small to really make that applicable. But if you had a bigger, wider field, and you could open up, kind of like, again, that war mode in Call of Duty, the newest one, is you can open up extra flanking routes, and then they could be the opposing team, or if you're on the other side of the wall, you can quote-unquote repair them and close them back up and relock them. And a team's given a certain number of quote-unquote C4 bricks, and once they're used, they'll recognize, okay, this one's been used and can't use it anymore. And you can, that way the players themselves can change that dynamics of the way the field is built. Is like the routes to the field. And so even if you've played 100 games on the field, I would still make your field movable, but even if you played 100 games on the field, every one, the routes that are being played change drastically.
That would be cool.
By, again, having doors that lock or unlock, having walls that split open.
You know what would be cool? I think Lenny had this idea, the whole idea that you can like set a house on fire or something like that. And I think it's either this is my own idea or this was Lenny's. I forget, but anyways, but like you put heaters in the building, and if it's on fire, you literally crank. That was his idea. Yeah. You literally crank up the heat so hot that it's like almost unbearable to stay in the room because it's on fire.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. That would be.
And again, that's into the mixing all the senses.
Yeah. Safety is a little bit concerning with the heat aspect of that.
But even still, it's the idea of mixing as many senses into this as you can.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of players being able to modify the field safely during a game.
Yeah.
The more they can change the field, again, it keeps the gameplay fresh. Actually, God, this was a concept I thought of years ago. But imagine this. Just take a moment to open your imagination to this.
My imagination is always
You have a field like this, right?
Yeah.
And you have poles mounted to the floor and mounted to the ceiling.
Stripper poles.
Something similar looking.
Hey, I got my imagination open, right?
On that pole.
I didn't say naked woman.
Can you please? On this pole, you have a large hinge mechanism with an 8-foot wall, or maybe a 6-foot wall. That's 8 feet tall at least, probably like 10 feet tall. And it can rotate 360 degrees around that pole, and it can lock to a pole next to it. So all the poles are specifically spaced maybe 8 feet apart.
So it's like a channel lock kind of thing.
Well, no. So imagine these poles are in a giant grid.
Yeah.
And the space between each pole, perpendicular-wise, is always exactly 8 feet.
Exactly.
And you have, like I said, these walls that can swing 360 degrees and can lock to a pole next to it and create like like a wall.
I feel like there's
Well,
some
maybe. Let me finish this. It can lock to a pole next to it, and that way you could, on a daily basis,
switch up.
Literally just change you just unlock all the things and you move the walls wherever you want and you create paths and you basically create a maze through your field. Less maze based with dead ends, more just like hallways and all this kind of stuff. You could have removable panels that open up windows or doors in those walls, and you just slide bolts back in or like the pins back in and it locks everything together, and you have a field of literally infinite possibilities.
That's not a terrible idea. Not a terrible idea at all.
It'd be very expensive to have all of those poles. That's where it'd be like a one-time, extremely expensive cost, but then after that, literally infinite possibilities. You could make buildings by just having all of them together and leaving the rest space.
It's not a bad idea. Very interesting, and you of course can remove these walls in total.
Well, what I'd have it, because it'd be so difficult to lift, I'd have them, the hinge mechanisms be modular, so you can kind of swing a wall to a pole next to it, hook onto that pole and release it from the first one, and you can kind of caterpillar it away to move the density of these walls around.
Okay. Well, that's a very interesting idea with that. That would definitely be cool. Like, I wouldn't do it with the whole field, but like a section of the field, I think would be really cool to have that. But yeah, no, I do like that. I do like that idea quite a bit. Gee, I had a thought.
It'd be so hard to implement. It wouldn't be that hard to implement. It'd be costly to implement, but it'd be very interesting to see the result.
It would be, absolutely. I had an idea. I honestly don't even remember what it was. I guess so. Harrison before had talked about an indoor field in SoCal. That was an indoor field, and it was a water bottling facility that was about 100,000 square feet, 2 stories in some parts, multiple entrance points. And it kind of got me thinking, well, what would be the best field? I mean, this is really, again, going back to the whole realism versus game argument, but a designed field or buying out a pre-made facility. You know, since we're bringing in cost and everything to this, building a facility,
building facilities is impractical.
Building a facility from the ground up, from the way that we would want to do it, is going to cost millions, literally millions.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's find a building with 20-foot ceilings, lots of entryways, fairly open floor plan. Maybe what I was just talking about would be better if you built the facility from the ground up. Yeah. But for the most part, yeah.
I'm more so talking about not like a building like this, but it's like an argument between buying out like a chemical compound or buying a flat piece of land and then building it up on it. You know, in cost and everything like that. They're two kind of different arguments, but I just think it's an interesting idea. You know, let's say I was looking to buy a field I had. You know, I have $5 million or whatever to start an airsoft business, which is a lot. Especially, honestly, if you have $5 million opening up an airsoft business, there's a lot more you could probably do with $5 million.
Buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Buy Bitcoin, wait 30 minutes, sell Bitcoin. Now you have $10 million.
Yeah, it's going to crash soon.
Oh, no.
It's going to crash.
I'm banking on it crashing so that I can buy used graphics cards for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Because the market's just going to flood with all the people dumping.
Yeah, we're using graphics cards to mine them.
They have like 1080 Ti's, and they're like, well, I really only need 2 of these, and they just dump 8 of them for like $200 a piece, and then you're going to be mad at me.
Hey, well, have a good reason to be mad at you, right? If you catch any good deals, you got to let me know. It's my only rule.
All right.
But yeah, no, it's just a thought that I had. You know, obviously, I think designing a field would be better.
Well, I did mention earlier that buying like an old paper mill or an old chemical plant would be awesome.
Yeah.
Really awesome, as long as it's big enough, but yeah.
I would love to buy like a warehouse that has, land adjacent to it or connected to it, so we could do the outdoor and indoor.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. But then it kind of becomes this thing where like, okay, well, obviously you have your business entrance to it. So it's really, you don't have 360 degrees that you can enter this building. Because that's one thing that I want, if you're talking about integrating, like large buildings into an outdoor field. For me, I would want it so that you can enter this building 360 degrees.
You know what I'd want for that? Some buildings have them, is like a basement loading dock. And you make like a covered thing to your parking lot. And in the basement is your store. And then you go up to game.
That's not a bad idea. That'd be really cool. It'd just have to be a really big basement, because the staging would have to be in there as well, right?
Yeah. But
I mean, yeah, I
think
guess.
about how big basement's the size of the building.
Exactly, yeah, I was going to say, the basement is going to be as big as the size of the building.
But yeah, I would put like your store in the basement, your staging area, all that kind of stuff, and you go upstairs to enter the field, and the field's 360 degrees around the building.
I like that idea. That would be very good.
But dreams.
Yeah,
all
right,
dreams. Oh God, there was something else I was going to add that I'd love to have at a field. It had somewhat to do with what I was talking about earlier, but I lost it.
And so actually this brings me up with an idea, because I'm thinking of what I see as a dream, or what I thought of what a dream airsoft field would be when I first started playing. And I remember seeing videos of the Guardian Center. I saw the Guardian Center. I saw like there are 50-something buildings, some are 3-4 stories tall, urban tree style thing, and I thought, wow, like that has got to be literally like the top of the airsoft experience, like in terms of playability and like just coolness factor. But of course, to run that as an airsoft field is literally impossible. They have that facility for emergency response.
Training.
Yeah,
training grounds.
Exactly. Yeah,
expensive.
And training grounds for really anything. And in this conversation, it's really kind of opened my eyes up to why Milsim is so fantastic, because it allows you to play in these areas that you would never get to go to on a week-to-week basis. I mean, and obviously, I guess as I'm thinking of further, as I'm saying it, that's kind of quite obvious. That's really the appeal to Milsim in a lot of sense, but I just got a different angle on my appreciation for Milsim, is the fact that like you have these crazy things, and that's not something you get to see every day. And then, of course, tying this into the community part, clean up the facilities when you're done, because that's how these cool things don't happen anymore. Yeah, respect your surroundings, the communities around the area too, but also the facility itself.
Yeah. Big time. We should, because we're almost running out of time, believe it or not, we should do the news.
The news.
Because there's some awesome stuff. If you want to throw me those links, I'll bring it up on the screen.
Yeah. So this is so really the main thing that I found in the news this week. It wasn't me that found it, actually.
I was going to say
Jake,
cough.
Yeah, Jake actually tagged us in this. One of our recon dudes, been on the stream a few times. Of course, Chrome decides to freeze as I click the share now button to get that shareable link that you guys are also interested in seeing. But long story short,
don't worry.
What?
I got that one. I meant to send me the Polar Star one, but.
Oh, the Polar Star one? Well, we actually talked about that one last week.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. We brought up
a picture something else in the news in that case.
Aside from the PTS thing?
Yeah, something I forgot. I'm gonna be completely honest.
I don't know, but check out. I just sent you the link to it. I think the same description. Yeah, so that's the same thing that I sent you. So cool thing about this is this uses their new Vigoro system, which is
I know there's no audio for those watching the video. We're doing that on purpose. So.
Yeah, but so the Vigoro system, it's an electronic MOSFET. My guess is it's going to be very similar to the Ares Amoeba style MOSFET, where it's this contained system in the trigger, because they do say it's the electronic trigger system, and most of the Ares electronics.
We talked about the Polar Star thing last week.
We did, with the cylinders and such.
I really don't remember.
We definitely did.
I'm gonna go check this. I really don't think we did.
Okay, go check it. And I'll talk about the PTS VFC collab. And so the Ares Amoeba, if you were to open up a gearbox, the 90% of their MOSFET is contained right on the trigger board. It replaces where your contacts would be, your shuttle, cutoff lever, all that stuff is replaced by this one big electronic board. That's the brain of the Amoebas. And so this system has 3 programmed functions for firing modes. First, safe semi full auto, safe semi 3-round burst, safe 3-round burst full auto. Your basic imaginations for what the selector could be. It also includes a MOSFET for increased longevity, as well as a fuse, which is interesting because I don't think the Ares guns have fuses, because I remember if you reverse the polarity in Ares guns, you fry them. But so this one having a fuse is definitely cool.
Yeah, you just have something wrong written here, but that's okay.
Wrong written there? Where?
In your doc. It's not the Virgo system that has the motor. That's a different system.
That has the what?
The brushless motor.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. I'm talking about the trigger
no, I know,
system.
but in the actual thing you wrote here.
Oh, I just copied and pasted that thing right there.
Oh.
Yeah, from the description, and then and so it has a few, and then finally the most exciting feature is the VFC PTS collaboration. Oh yeah, is the Vigoro system has a brushless motor. So I guess they're going to be using a standard airsoft sized motor, but it's now a brushless motor, which really in airsoft I don't have an issue with. I've never had brush issues with any airsoft gun aside from
really. Wait,
if you saw where I was going with that, I was transitioning to look at the camera and say besides my system.
Yeah.
Which has just been
brushes
terrible.
are also a huge voltage loss in a motor. I've been saying for years, brushless motors is the way airsoft needs to go. The technology has been there forever, and it just needs to be done, basically.
Who is the handsome bearded man? Are you talking about airsoftology?
Jonathan.
I thought like Harrison had like a sneak preview in this video or something like that. I'm like, Harrison's in this video? I don't even know if you have a beard.
But you can see right here.
You sound like a guy who has a beard.
You can see right here how crazy snappy the trigger response is. Again, you can't quite hear it, I know, but that's 3-round burst he's doing there and then full auto. Frame rate doesn't do it justice. But either way,
why does the cylinder return to the halfway point?
So they do pre-cocking.
That's what I figured.
And when you go to full auto, it unprecocks. So if you, like at the end of the day, you go to full auto and fire a quick burst, and it returns the cylinder all the way back forward. Ironically, this is the opposite of what you used to do, where at the end of the day, you go to semi and fire a couple shots to get the cylinder all the way forward. Now with this system, you go to full auto and fire a few shots to get the system all the way forward. It's just kind of funny how it's changed.
I wish it was like the Wii text where you switch it to safe and it just
such the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, of course, then to be fair, is the idea of pre-cocking is lower trigger response. When I go around the woods, I flip my gun to safety, even though ironically my safety doesn't do anything. Yeah. But so if you're always unpre-cocking, it kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah.
To be fair. But point being is brushless motors are the way to go with airsoft because you get more torque out of them. You get lower voltage drop across those brushes. Way, way, way higher reliability, like monumentally so higher reliability, because there's no longer a wear point in the motor.
Yeah, wear point.
I mean, think about it. You said you haven't had issues in the past. How often do we pull out a customer's gun and we run the motor alone and it glows like crazy on the back of the motor and we go, oh, you need a new motor. That's the brushless worn out.
Oh, okay. I've never really...
When you see a motor spark like crazy on the back of the motor...
Oh, that's the brush.
That's the brushes being...
I didn't realize it was the brushes. I always just said, oh, your motor's done.
Yeah, no,
your motor's fried.
Literally, you could replace those brushes and the motor would probably work fine after that, but the cost and labor of replacing brushes is usually more than just buying a new motor.
I mean, if you know what you're doing.
Well, again, it's the labor of us doing it. That's why we usually just tell customers to get a new motor.
Oh, okay. I'm saying, I'm advocating for the dude who likes to do his own stuff.
Yeah. I'm just saying is you don't have to do that anymore, and the motor will perform better if you use a brushless system.
Okay.
Also, much more resistant to water, because again, there isn't brush contacts.
I mean, if you're getting into water with your airsoft gun, I think your motor is the least of your concern.
Well, with a conventional system, motor is the biggest concern.
Really?
Conventional contacts.
Oh, contacts, yeah.
Yeah, conventional contacts. Water is going to damage the motor before anything else.
Okay, all right. I mean, it's just funny because most airsoft guns nowadays have a bit more than your conventional.
Yeah, even a simple MOSFET is pretty water resistant. All they need to do is spray it with and I think most of them do. I know Crytek and Elite Force does. They just give it a quick spray of this stuff that protects it from moisture.
Okay.
So once again, the motor is the failure point in water usually, or battery if you short the battery, obviously.
Yeah.
But usually, a lot of times, the battery will short through the motor. Which burns up your motor and your battery. It's great. But like I said, point being is I'm really excited to see that. I hope the price tag isn't absurd. I've actually considered trying to develop my own one in the past, just literally out of curiosity if I could make it work. It's really cool they're getting it into the motor grip. They're able to fit it in the motor grip because usually one thing with brushless motors, they do usually have to be very round compared to a regular brushed motor. So I'll be curious how they did that. I have some theories, but nonetheless, it's an exciting improvement. Also, there'll be 3 wires sticking out of the motor instead of 2, and I'm sure Tex will be like, I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
But anything else interesting this week?
No, nothing really. That was
I know this one.
that was really the one that I saw the most.
I remember what the other thing was. That Baller WE magazine. Oh, maybe it was Dan that showed it to me.
I think someone showed this to me as well. Isn't it that it's a WeTech M4, but it has like 300 rounds and it has an HPA.
Yes, line.
It has an HPA macro line.
And it works with any WE M4 type gas blowback system.
It's like what, $200 for the mag?
126 is as much as like 3 or 4 magazines, and it holds way more than.
I think HBS is a kind of a marijuana plant, Des. Is that? Oh, that's not even on the TV,
Nope,
is it?
that's why I search on here, James. For literally the second week in a row we've done this.
We have looked at the screen and like talked about something that wasn't actually on the podcast.
This is James on Adderall.
Hey, I think I'm paying attention very well.
Okay, I
Very
think
engaged today.
no, just this part where you're like.
It's like I'm very on point. It's
so either way, like I was saying, so yeah, 126 uses basically, it looks like an M4 high cap with a WE system thrown into it. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is. 1 second. This is a 416 magazine, isn't it? Yeah, this is like a HK 416 magazine, I think.
yeah, it looks like that. I mean, because you don't really need that. You don't need that big reservoir for gas anymore.
Right.
That's usually the issue with HPA tapping mags, because you have that expansion chamber where when you first plug in your pressurized line, which is now pointless.
Right.
You don't need all that.
Exactly.
All that pressurized volume.
So, like I said, it's a great idea. It kind of makes me want to get another WE.
Don't you have a WeTech?
No.
Or you have a GMP?
I have a GMP.
Actually, aren't?
No.
No? Okay.
WE and WA are different. So GMP and WA have the same gas system. KWA has its own proprietary gas system. WE has its own proprietary gas system. WE used to have what I really liked. They had a closed bolt system. It was a little uglier, but God, was it so much more gas efficient. Then they went to an open bolt system because the market was like, we want this.
Yeah.
It looks cooler, but God, they're just not as good.
Yeah.
Time for wrap up announcements, though.
I guess so, yeah.
I'll let you take it away.
All right. So we have coming up for the rest of December, getting close to Christmas season, guys. I have a lot of restocks coming in this week, next week, all the other good stuff. So if you're still looking to get Christmas presents, don't be worried. We have everything still coming the way. The cutoff for special orders is this Thursday. If you see something that you want and you don't see it in the store, you need to fill out a sheet and put a deposit in on or before Thursday the 14th. I'm sending out my last special orders on Friday. I, of course, will try my best if you submit a special order over the weekend or on Monday the 18th. I will try my very, very best to get it to you before Christmas, but since we are in Rhode Island, 90% of my distributors are in California, where the airsoft industry is centered. It takes a long time for stuff to get over to this side of the country. Mm-hmm. So that's why I set Thursday as the final special order for my guaranteed Christmas. And if it's something that I can't guarantee, even though you already put it there, I will call you and let you know. Absolutely. There are some companies that are hard to.
Or something. And just to be clear, we're not Magic. If you order something that's been out of stock for 3 months, we can't make it come into stock just by magic. I mean, out of stock nationwide, not from us, but
exactly.
If you're like, I want that old WE Navy SEAL M4, and you're like, it hasn't been built in 3 years.
Then you're SOL, buddy. It's gonna be.
I've had a couple people think that we're Magic in the past, and I just want to make it very clear.
Well, it's because in the past we've been able to produce Magic at times.
Apparently. Because
those like small instances where we produce Magic, people are like, oh well, can you maybe do this? Can you maybe do that?
More
Magic. This? Yeah. But it's kind of like that MOSFET for that Scorpion. remember if you remember that whole thing. The guy submitted for repair for at a different shop.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't fix it and they couldn't get the part. I hit my boy Harrison and he was able to get the part over and my tech fixed it. And the dude was astonished that we were even able to get this part. So props to ASG for that one. Thunder maybe. Actually, it sounded like someone rolling something across the floor.
I know, I'm confused on who or why.
But even still, so going into these specifics for events coming up, we have Nerf Night, of course, tomorrow night through the rest of December. Friday night is Pistol Shotgun Night. Show up if you are ready to play with pistols and shotguns. Do not show up if you don't want to do that, because it's Pistol Shotgun Night, dude. Adult Night, 6 to midnight. Des and I will be working that. Hope to see you guys there. Mm-hmm. And Operation Revenge of the Grinch is on Sunday. Pre-registration is live. It is working. There's more details about the event. Go to our Facebook for the detailed timeline of the event, including raffle stuff like that. We are open Christmas Eve, but only the store is open. The store is open from 11 to 3 p.m. for your last-minute shopping needs. Gaming is not open, and of course, Christmas we are closed. If you celebrate Christmas, spend it with your family, and enjoy the holiday. And if you're not, well, enjoy your day off then, because I'm pretty sure the entire country takes the day off that day. Mm-hmm. Aside from your Dunkin' Donuts workers and other retail employees that work those days. You guys are the real MVP.
Movie theaters are wicked popular.
Yeah. So you want to talk about Thanksgiving. People complain about that, but Christmas, man, working on Christmas, that can be pretty rough. So you guys are the real MVP. Or I'm sorry, I was talking about Black Friday. People say, oh, Black Friday employees are the real MVPs. No, people that work on holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, you guys are awesome. Because we are not awesome enough to do that. And then, of course, the week after, as in screw that, we're not open on Christmas, kind of mentality, I guess is what I was trying to say. And of course, the week after Christmas, Tuesday through Friday, we have Nerf gaming in the morning from 9 to 12 p.m. and then Airsoft gaming from 12 to 7 p.m. And that's Tuesday through Friday. Standard $15 rate applies for Airsoft gaming, so $15 gets you 7 hours of gameplay. It's a great deal. You get to play with all your new toys that you got over Christmas. And then if you got a gift card, you can even buy a new toy and play with it right then. Because we stay stocked up. I mean, this is our busy season, so we stay stocked up with everything you could want all the way through the new year. And we try to do it all year round, but we have the stock of what everyone wants this time of year. And that falls on me. So if you see something that you want and it's not here, then come yell at me, because that's my job. But yeah, and that's just about the end of the announcements.
Well, there's also the whole Revenge of the Grinch.
I talked about, I said the 17th Sunday.
Okay,
Revenge of the
Grinch.
Grinch.
So quick, I missed it, sorry.
Well, there's just a lot to go over. This just kind of all blends together, I guess, right?
I suppose. Remember pre-register for that, by the way. You save $5.
Yep, it is live. It is all good.
It's on there now, which is good. But yeah, with that, I think it's about time we wrap up. So thank you very much for joining us. Actually really enjoyed this stream. It was a really good one.
Yeah.
And as always, it applies any other day, but especially on this video. If you have suggestions for the field, please throw a comment in the description. Throw a comment in the comment section on Facebook or YouTube. We really do read both. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Even if you think it's crazy and unobtainable, we've done some stuff that we're literally the only field in the country doing, or probably world really doing.
Yeah.
So, we strive to be cool. So, like I said, let us know. And once again, thank you very much for watching. We will see you next week. Are we going to try and stream the day after Christmas, after gaming, or no?
Christmas after gaming, that's 7 o'clock.
Well, Tuesday, the day after Christmas after gaming, but yeah.
That's still 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock sounds late.
Yeah, well, do we want to miss our first week ever, or do we want to find a time to stream?
Our first week ever? What do you mean?
If we don't stream that day, it would be the first week we missed ever.
No, we've missed it before. What about when I went away last summer? Did you not do it?
I think we.
When I was on Block Island.
Did we miss? Either way, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We'll figure that out. Let you know. Thanks very much for joining. We will see you next week and hopefully this weekend for Adult Night or Pistol Shotgun Night or the event. Like I said, a lot going on. But with that,
December's the best time of the year.
bye.
See you guys later. I get to go.